Virgo, welcome to your 2023 reading for the new year. Let's get started and see what messages we have for Virgo, Sun, Moon, and Rising for the year ahead. Now, keep in mind these are general readings and may not resonate for everyone. So make sure to check out your other placements because you could have messages there that help you see the whole picture. Okay, let's get started for Virgo here. What is the energy around 2023 for Virgo? Sun, Moon, and Rising, Virgo 2023. Okay, bottom of the deck. Oh, it's interesting. It's the Stuck card. Okay, so I feel like you're moving through the emotions in 2023. A lot of stuff coming to the surface here. We're seeing, this is interesting. We're seeing specialness, manifestation, the sun, and purity. And I like seeing that idea of the sun here because I feel like there's a lot of emotional stuff going on. So seeing the sun makes me feel like that's going to balance things out. And seeing this manifestation with the specialness card tells me that this is about you sort of connecting into yourself, allowing things to come to the surface that need to come to the surface. And it's like there's this illumination on them with the sun card. And it's going to show you something about yourself, where you're stuck, where you're special, and where you need to maybe be gentle with yourself as you sort of allow things to come to the surface and not judge them. It's interesting, that specialness card, I really like that card because it talks about the uniqueness that you possess, the uniqueness that we all possess. And that idea is that nothing's ever really perfect, but there's uniqueness. And that sometimes we can get lost in the idea that we want to be like everyone else, when really there's something about us all that's unique that we should allow to come to the surface and to see in a more innocent way instead of judging it and saying, well, that makes me different than others and I don't want to be different. I want to fit in. You know, you could be stuck in this idea here, Virgo, that you're not quite like everyone else, but there's something beautiful about that. And it's almost manifesting more opportunities for you to be special and be unique and to sort of feel that it's okay for us all to be unique, because this idea of separation is actually an illusion anyway. In this idea that it's, you know, if you want to sort of sit with something for a second, you can think to yourself that really that idea of oneness, right? That we're all this from the same source, but because we're here as this idea of individuals, we're not actually individual at all, but this idea that we're here in this 3D experience as individuals is okay for us to be unique and special in different ways, because we're basically different expressions of the same source. We're fragments of the same one. Do you know what I mean? Like if you were to think about the sort of the source of us being this crystal, just as a metaphor here, we're all little fractures of this same crystal, but we refract light in different ways. And there's no reason to compare how one shard of this crystal refracts light versus another and to compare them and to judge them. No, there's no need for that, because it's all the same actor playing all the parts. I like to think of it that way, that it's the same hand animating all of us, just in different ways. Who can I become is ultimately the question of source, of God, of your higher self, of whatever, however you like to think of it. It's this idea of who can I become in this set of circumstances, or if in this arrangement of energy, what can I manifest? What can I illuminate differently, you know, but without comparison or judgment, because your specialness is equal to my specialness. They're different in their expression, but they're equal because we're the same. We're cut from that exact same cloth of source, you know? And so your reading is very interesting, Virgo. It's very much a time of allowing things to bubble up to the surface so that you can see things in a unique way without judgment, denial, or sort of comparison. That your uniqueness is worthy in and of itself. It doesn't need to be compared or sort of judged at all. The only task at hand here is for you to express it fully and with focus and determination to bring your highest good into this plane of existence, to shine your light in addition to every other light that's shining, you know, without dimming another's light, to shine. Just shine. It's so interesting. I feel like that's where your year ahead will take you in terms of your own understanding of yourself, and to release, just looking, there's the devil on the bottom of the deck, to release these trappings that get you stuck, these thoughts of the ego that get you stuck into thinking that if you're different somehow, then you don't fit in, and that's not good. You know, like this idea of judging things as good or bad, this idea of good or bad, and using comparison to sort of judge the self instead of just being pure, being your pure, innocent, beautiful self and shining. No comparison needed, right? Because your worthiness isn't dependent on any kind of comparison. It's just, it is, you know? Yeah, there's the sun again. I love that. You got the sun twice. So something really beautiful here. This is such a positive message for you, Virgo. Something really beautiful and authentic is coming to light for you. And it's going to reveal to you that you don't need to be stuck, that there's no reason to compare or judge yourself, that you can manifest your own path by just expressing your authenticity as it is without comparison. I feel like something really illuminating is coming for you in 2023, something that's going to illuminate to you a lot of self-discovery. That Page of Wands in reverse, a lot of self-discovery that you might be really stuck right now because, you know, 2022 may have shown you some experiences that, you know, made you maybe think that your uniqueness isn't something that is positive, but your uniqueness is your birthright, is this idea of we're all here to shine a different light. We're all here to shine our own unique light, and that's what makes that whole spectrum. You know, if we were all here shining the same light, that wouldn't be as diverse, it wouldn't be as creative, it wouldn't be as interesting. You know what I mean? It would be almost like just carbon copies of one another. And that's not the point, I don't think, of this experience that we're having here. And I think you're starting to see that as well. Yeah, there's that Two of Wands. You know, it's interesting. It's like you have this opportunity to sort of express yourself in a unique way, and you're gonna get that illumination, that idea here that you can hold your light without comparing it to another's. You can express yourself without judgment and comparison. You don't need to be stuck. Yeah, and there's another two. Isn't that interesting? There's that stuck energy in the Two of Swords in reverse. It's almost like there's a decision, and now the devil's back on the bottom of the deck. Isn't that interesting? There is some quality here that's suggesting to me that there's a decision that needs to be made, and until that decision gets made, you feel stuck. There's something here that's holding you back, and it feels like it's a decision that needs to be made, a difficult choice. There's some confusion around it. You might feel like you're between a rock and a hard place here. And yet I feel like there is a lot of choice. There's movement for you to make a choice, but there's almost a fear of the outcome. You might be sort of not wanting to make a choice, feeling hesitant here about a difficult decision, because you feel insecure. You might be feeling a bit afraid of moving out of a comfort zone and seeing yourself in a different way. There's an activation happening here in the Two of Wands where it's bringing in some new possibilities, but you almost have to be okay with your uniqueness, your specialness, in order to step into that. But when I see the sun shining here in both rows, that tells me there's a lot of inspiration here. There's a lot of fulfillment and creativity, and it's a big yes, like it's a move forward card. And I think what's keeping you stuck is this idea of maybe there's this other energy in your space that you're afraid to release. And you might be feeling limited because there's a part of you that wants to start something new, but there's almost like so much passion behind it that you're becoming a little bit emotionally sort of angsty. Like you want it a certain way, like you want it a certain way. And if it's not that way, you're sort of folding your arms against it and saying no. And that's creating some stuck. So we're seeing the devil here because you're sort of being guided to release that and to sort of liberate yourself. Instead of seeing that you're stuck between a rock and a hard place, literally stuck, to see yourself as sort of breaking free and not feeling helpless, not feeling stuck in chains. That anything that feels like you're stuck could be showing you where you need to surrender, my friends. Anything that feels like you're stuck and that there's resistance, when you encounter resistance, that's your clue to surrender. To surrender to it, to say, what is this opportunity teaching me about myself? And that is something that I feel is guiding this. Like there's a part of you that's really needing to surrender to something that is keeping you feeling stuck. And I feel like in 2023, that's going to be illuminated for you. And you're almost going to see it in a different way. Instead of feeling resistance and angst, you're going to surrender. And to say, this has no power over me unless I allow it to have power over me. And right now, you're allowing it to have power over you. And so I feel like that is going to shift in 2023. You're not going to let this have power over you moving forward. You're going to break those chains. And it's not going to feel like you're stuck anymore. You're not going to let it. It's like you're going to see things in a different way because the sun is going to illuminate sort of a new framework for you. Let's have a look here at the sun. Yes, right now you're sort of getting pulled into the drama, and that's it. You're rejecting something. You're rejecting something because you're getting pulled into some emotional drama. You're not able to stay above it. You're being triggered. You feel triggered by something, and it's that you got to break the chains to whatever that is, because it's taking away your power to sort of stay in charge of your emotions and to stay above them, like that King of Cups. Seeing the King of Cups in reverse says to me that you're emotionally sort of expressing frustration and expressing these emotions that are really symbolic of something else. You know what I mean? Like King of Cups in reverse says to me that you're triggered. You're very triggered right now. And the triggers are expressing themselves through your emotions. And as a result, you're sort of needing to see things in a different way, which is why it's landing on the sun. And seeing the Hierophant in reverse says that there may be some element of this that you're not wanting to face. You might be sort of saying, well, that doesn't apply to me, or, that's not true. It's interesting seeing that Hierophant in reverse there too. Let's clarify this Page of Rods. What's going on with this Page of Rods here? Yeah, the Tower. There is something that you're denying that's trying to clear a path for you. and you're resisting it. There's a heavy resistance vibe here for you, and I feel like that's going to lift in 2022, and you're going to see things in a different way. But in order to do that, you have to get unstuck first. There's the Chariot in reverse, which is a very stuck energy. You're stuck in resistance right now, but I feel like the Tower says to me that that's all going to get cleared out, whether right now you like it or you don't. It's getting cleared out. And if you have a difficult choice to make, it almost feels like it could get made for you, and then all you have control over is how you respond to that. But this definitely feels like a clearing of stuck energy, and it's moving quickly. And there's the Knight of Swords bringing in so much change. I love seeing the Knight of Swords and the Tower together because it just makes me smile that the ground beneath your feet is about to become something different. Like this is you being stuck and manifesting a solution. It's like you're so stuck that like the energy itself is shifting so that you can be unstuck. And it's going to allow you to break these chains, whether or not you feel like you can make this leap or not. I don't think you're going to have a choice in the future, in the sense of like the environment is changing around you based on the truth. And you just have to surrender. This is about surrender. Yeah, this is about surrendering. Resistance is your cue to surrender. When things just feel stuck, like you can't push past something, you just keep hitting against something, you must surrender. You must surrender, and it's interesting. I feel like it's a time where it must feel a little bit uncomfortable. I feel like it feels like you're emotionally uncomfortable with this, and I giggle only because it's about to change. It's like it's reached a maximum level here and it's about to shift. And so your guidance for 2023, Virgo, is to surrender when you feel resistance. Don't push into that resistance more and more and more. It's like banging your head against a brick wall. All that's going to happen is blood and injury, right? You're going to cut yourself open. And so it's like, don't push against the wall. Acknowledge the wall. Look at it. Try and get distance from it so you can see the whole picture to understand why you're stuck. Maybe you could walk around the wall, but you're standing so close to it you can't see that it's not an infinite wall. There's a way around it. There's a path here where you surrender to the obstacle and have a look at it so that it doesn't have any power over you at that point. Do you know what I mean? What a very interesting reading for you. Really feeling stuck just before everything shifts. It's very interesting. It's like very cliche, but it's like that darkness before the dawn. Right before the sun rises, it may feel like it's so dark and you can't see how special your situation is and how special you are. But there is a level of surrender here that is necessary moving forward. Okay, let's pick a card here for Virgo. I just feel like I want to shuffle one more time. Take an oracle message. One card from this deck. Okay. Yes. Okay, interesting. Dakini of Infinite Light. Now, I've been reading right out of the guidebook for these cards because I just really love the way Alana Fairchild has written the messages. So, let's see. Card number 9. The message here, the Dakini of Infinite Light. Seek and you shall find. Find the teachers and the teachings which feel pure to your heart. It is the inner truth of you that will ultimately set you free. Yes, don't give away your power. Exactly. There's a situation here that feels like you need to surrender to it because it has power over you right now as long as you're in resistance. Believe all problems can be resolved and a more graceful life experience is opening up for you now. This is very interesting. The Dakini is a supernatural feminine being who inspires spiritual practice, guides us to actualize our spiritual abilities, and teaches the inner pathway of awakening. This is interesting. You're receiving this card because there is something about to develop within you, an inner capacity and becoming stronger here. So you're being guided to explore your questions about spirituality and awakening with confidence. This is a time of increased light in your life, and it could be coming up at a time of difficulty where increased clarity and illumination, like we're seeing in the sun, is necessary to help heal and reach a higher perspective of clarity. There is clarity in 2023 for you. There is a lot of clarity where there was a lack of clarity. So you're really being called here to not give up. This is a time to continue to sort of move towards enlightenment and have the ability and desire to sort of walk free, where you don't give your power to something. And this idea here of sort of allowing your intuitive self to help you unravel any sort of mystery that requires surrender. So any area where you feel stuck, like there's no solution, it's time to sort of reflect on that in a different way and to trust that you're being guided to restore your energies. You know, you're really being guided towards that sun to illuminate something within yourself that helps you to understand how to surrender when you feel stuck. And it's very interesting. I feel like this is bringing to light this idea here where you're going to feel clear and clarity where you once felt confused. You will feel clear and clear, like the clarity, the light of that sun. Isn't it interesting that you got the sun twice and we're talking about infinite light? And your whole reading was sort of about not comparing or judging your experience to another's, but to lighten up within, to increase the clarity so that your perspective becomes clear and your path becomes open and not stuck. I can't help but feel like, Virgo, that you're on a road or a path or a direction right now that doesn't resonate with you. It doesn't resonate with your special frequency that like we said, we all have our own special frequency. And I feel like you're moving in a direction right now that is not for you. And that's why the Tower is here. That's why the Knight of Swords is here. That's why you're being called to surrender. Because right now it's almost like you're getting pulled under by something that's got power over you, and it's an illusion. You can move away from this somehow, and you will find that. I feel like you're going to find that in 2023. Guidance is your final message here. It says here, listen, trust your inner knowing, connect with your intuition, and know that you're protected. And look at that image. There's that white owl there, which suggests rebirth and transformation, and this idea of spiritual guidance coming from within once you're ready to sort of look at it. And it's interesting to see these two figures here looking very similar to me in that they're both bathed in that infinite light. And it's interesting that your reading guided me to talk about how, you know, we're all emanations of source. We're all pieces of the same source. And so your specialness and my specialness are equal. They don't need to be compared. And there's that element in your reading as well. But I feel like you're going to be moving forward into 2023 with this idea of reclaiming your innocence and your purity. And you're going to remember that you are a child of the universe and you are having a spiritual experience here, to remember your spiritual essence, to see the divinity in all things, and to release the concept of perfection and comparison and judgment. I feel like a lot is shifting for you in 2023 from within, Virgo, from within, and you're being called to surrender. You're really being called to surrender where you feel resistance. Wow, what an interesting reading. I'm going to leave it at that for you, Virgo. I'm wishing you such a happy new year, and I'm sending you so much love and light, my friends. I look forward to reading for you again. Thank you for being on this journey with me and for being here for this reading. I love you, and I'm sending you all the best for 2023. Take care.